Long drive, deep left field. That ball is out of here. Got to touch them all. Bryce Harper sending the Philadelphia Phillies to the 2022 World Series against a team everybody loves to hate. Everyone, of course, for the second time in 5 years, a weary nation turns its eyes to Philadelphia to take down an empire built on lies and cheating. I'm, of course, referring to the Houston Astros, a team, mind you, that Anita Marks is backing in the futures market on Sporttrade. Anita, happy Monday. How are you?
I'm great. I'm better than the Yankees. That's for sure, right?
Yeah. A lot of Yankees. That tough situation if you're a Yankees fan, right? You hate the Astros. You got swept. You definitely don't want Philly to have another championship. So what's the mood up there in North Jersey slash New York?
Oh, the mood is Cashman's got to go, blow up the roster, got to start all over again. Just nothing but a bunch of dudes hitting home runs isn't going to fit the bill. You need guys who are going to be able to make contact, even if they can't hit the long ball. I mean, listen, this was a Yankees team. I want to say collectively they were batting 183 in the postseason. Like, for a team that is built to win a World Series on their lineup and not necessarily their rotation or their bullpen, 183, not going to do it. So it's a lot of it's a lot of where does this organization go from here? That's really the talk of the town right now. I'm happy I'm not on sports talk radio today. I mean, this probably, in my opinion, would probably be the easiest day to be on sports talk radio, because all you do is just open up the phone lines and you just let, all the Yankee fans call in and gripe. But yeah, that's kind of where this town is out right now.
Well, don't know anything about that. Let's take a look at the futures market here on Sport Trade, because it is all roses here in the city of brotherly love today. Bryce Harper, if we have another kid, I may just name him or her Bryce. Bryce, unisex name, beautiful name, just beautiful for a boy or a girl. 2022 World Series futures here on Sport Trade. I have the Philadelphia Phillies, who are currently trading at $37. I got them at $7.50. Anita has the Astros, and remind us, you got them at 37, correct?
I got them at 37. I checked this morning. They're now trading at 63. And I know you don't want to hear this, but I'm actually going to hold on to them.
Oh, okay. Well, some of us may liquidate our positions in order to afford World Series tickets. We'll see how the rest of the week shapes out. I mean, obviously the Astros, we'll talk about this game quickly before moving on to a great NFL Sunday of trading. The Astros are undefeated in the playoffs, right? The Phillies, 8-2 in the postseason, 5-0 at home. Something's got to give. The Phillies will have the ability to throw Zach Wheeler game 1, Aaron Nola game 2, and then do it again in 5 and 6. One of those games being at Citizens Bank Park. But, I mean, this Astros team, even when they're not cheating, Anita, are really good. This is, I believe, their 4th pennant in the last 6 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. So this is a team that's been there before. They've got a ton of leadership, and even their young guys, Pena, unbelievable as a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, there's no spotting of any trash cans in the dugout, right? So I guess we could assume they're not cheating. But listen, who would have thought that the Astros would have swept both the Mariners and let alone the Yankees? They've won 7 straight. They've gone 7-0, and a big reason why is they just check all the boxes, right? Like clutch hitting when need be, great starting pitching. Their starting pitching collectively 188. So far in the postseason. It's unbelievable. In their bullpen, 0.82, not even a 1 ERA. Their bullpen, 0.82 in the postseason. So really, Dan, what it's going to come down to, in my opinion, the pitching rotation and the bullpen for the Astros against a red-hot Phillies lineup. And I know you tapped the cap of one Bryce Harper. He's been unbelievable. He's got a .419 batting average, 5 home runs, 11 ribbies so far in this preseason. He's been unbelievable. So really, that's what it's going to come down to. I just, with all due respect, here's another thing. Like, I don't necessarily like the Astros. People tell me all the time, who are you a fan of? It doesn't matter what I'm a fan of, right? I watch sports, I gamble on sports to win money, but you're right. Like, the world is going to be rooting for the Phillies.
That's right.
Every citizen outside of Houston,
which is weird.
And some in around the Houston area are going to be rooting for the Astros, but everybody else around the country and the world are going to be rooting for the Phillies because everybody hates this team. So, how am I going to bet it? I'm going to bet it the Astros win 4-2. I think they go to 6. That's how I'm betting it. They're favored to win the series at -1. What is it? -189, -182, -185. It's just too much juice for me to put down. So I'm going to bet the Astros win 4-2 in 6 games, but I'm going to be rooting for you, man. It's how about this? It's bittersweet, right? Like, either I'm going to win money or the better team in regard to the good guys are going to win. It's a win-win, Dan. It's a win-win.
They say you can't put a price on friendship unless you're Anita Marks, apparently. It doesn't seem to matter. This is a great stat, though, Anita, and we'll wrap up our baseball conversation here. You can see on our screen your trade from just 2 weeks ago, I believe, in which you said you got them at 37, now up to $63 is your position. An unbelievable stat here I got from Sheil Kapadia at The Ringer, so shout out to Sheil. Bryce Harper, in the last 15 seasons for baseball hitters with over 40 at-bats in the postseason, there's 300 or so players that fit this model here. Bryce Harper's average of what you said, I believe 419, and his OPS #1 in both categories. So this is a guy with 2 MVPs under his belt, looking for his first World Series championship that has absolutely answered the bell. He's been unbelievable. We'll transition now to a crazy, Anita, a fantastic week of trading in the NFL,
Yes.
Week 7. Even though we are not aligned together on the World Series, we had some family plays this week on Sport Trade, including the Giants straight up over the Jaguars, which we told you last Monday was insane, that the Jaguars continue to be favored, and that the Giants continue to be underdogs. Now they're 6-1. I believe all 6 of their wins have been by 1 possession or less. So there's some luck factor in play there. But anybody who had watched this Jaguars team in the last couple of weeks had to be floored that they were trading above 60 against the Giants.
Yeah, so I had some winners in week 7, the Giants being one of them.
Yeah.
The Titans, we talked about that earlier, right? Titans first quarter, one of the best, if not the best first quarter team in the NFL. Washington over the Packers, the Seattle and Chargers over, Seattle straight up. And I loved Kansas City. A lot of people were on the 49ers, especially after that trade with Christian McCaffrey. But I liked Kansas City. Where I lost with the Falcons in the second half. I thought that they would come back and make it close. I lost with the Browns against the Ravens. The Ravens, one of the worst teams in the NFL in the fourth quarter. I lost that. And last night, the Steelers and Kenny Pickett run the ball, dude. Run. It was right there. The first down was right there. He throws an interception. Those were my 3 losses. But you're right, Dan. Could not have had a better win with the Giants. I was telling folks, I work with ESPN. All my peeps, my coworkers at Daily Wager, I was telling them, don't sleep on this Giants team. Brian Daboll is getting the most out of this roster. And I still think people can't grasp that Daniel Jones just might be a good quarterback, Dan. He just might be a good quarterback.
This guy right here doesn't see it. Now, he adds a ton with his legs. Don't get me wrong, Anita. He has completely flipped the script with his legs and his ability to get out and get first downs. Like, I can't tell you how many 3rd and 5 to 8s they're able to convert, right? Because stuff breaks down and Daniel Jones is able to run for first downs. The luck factor here, I cannot get over the luck factor here. They've been so good in 1-score games that at some point that's got to end, in my belief. But 6-1, more power to them. It is what it is.
Let's give credit. I know we're sitting here talking about Brian Daboll and Daniel Jones, but I don't think enough is discussed about Wink Martindale and what he's been able to do with this defense. Keep in mind, Daniel Jones is working with skilled position players that would be 4 and 5s on somebody else's roster.
That's a good point.
Those are Darius Slayton, is his number 1 option right now the last 2 weeks. Granted, yes, he's got Saquon Barkley, and Saquon Barkley's having a season to remember, and he needs to, right? Because he's up for a new contract.
Right.
But also, Wink Martindale and schematically and what he's doing on the defensive side for the Giants in regard to the horses he has in his stable and what he's working with. Ojulari was just placed on IR. Bradbury is with your Eagles,
yes.
Dan. They had to give away a lot of really good, talented defensive players because Gettleman screwed up their cap space.
Couldn't pay him.
So, dare I use the phrase making chicken salad out of chicken poop? I would use something else, but I know this is a family show.
I love it. I get it. And I can't wait for the Giants and Eagles to play twice. Quick reminder here on the program, we're giving away $100 every week. This is the Market Mover Sweepstakes. All you got to do is follow Sport Trade on Twitter and then quote tweet the live Market Movers program with hashtag #TradeUpNewJersey. A great week for both of us, even for myself here. The only thing I really had to dump right away was Atlanta, who got shellacked by the Cincinnati Bengals, who were down 14-0, basically in a blink of an eye. But fortunately, if you watched the show on Friday with VJ Dewan from Pine Sports, we told you the best play, in my opinion, last weekend was the over between these two teams. It was 47.5, and at halftime, the score, I believe, was 28-17. So at halftime of that game, Anita, it was selling for $98.50. And as I tweeted, I think I'm just going to ride that one out. So that one, by far, the easiest play of the weekend.
Yeah, in regard to Cincinnati, Dan, they are a team that has changed and have transitioned in season, right? Number one, again, and I know I've referred to this a few times on the show. Joe Burrow not only did have his appendix removed, but his appendix burst. Wasn't like, oh, I've got a pain, and you go in there with a little, orthoscopic removal. No, I mean, he was not feeling good the first 2 weeks of the season. But schematically for them, they're in shotgun now 50% of the time. They're throwing the football now over 75% of the time.
Yep.
So keep on riding those overs with Cincinnati as each and every week, especially with a very favorable opponent, because they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. They're going to be putting a lot of points on the board if they continue with this type of game plan.
The public sentiment has, at least in the sport trade markets between the public, those who are trading, and our market makers, has always been really strong. Since we began tracking in week 2, the Bengals have been an underdog only one time in week 5. They were trading at $73 in week 2, 66.50 in week 3, 62.50, 56.50, 71.50, and then 62.50. I don't think they're featured in Price is Tight, so I think I can divulge that information. They are the 9th highest opening market team. So the sentiment never really left this team, but you're right. And we talked about this again on Friday. The flip has completely switched with this football team, right? Joe Burrow, prior to this weekend, was 3-1 with a quarterback rating over 100. He is absolutely starting to carve up a lot of these defenses, Anita, and that's finally coming to fruition. Real quick, something to keep in mind, too, as we go through the markets as we do every Monday. Here are the hardest remaining schedules, Anita, by DVOA. We'll start with the most difficult schedules. Our darlings, the Jets, have the most difficult schedule from here on out. They have been consistently one of the lowest priced teams in the market every single week. In fact, they are the 5th lowest priced team every single week, but they have 5 upsets in 6 weeks, and this week they're an underdog yet again, as we will discuss a little later. The Bengals are number 2, the Patriots number 3, the Bears 4th, and the Browns 5. So keep that in mind as we go through the markets every week. Here are the easiest schedules. Again, this is according to DVOA. The 28th most working backwards, the 5th easiest schedule, the Chargers, who nobody seems to be able to figure out. I certainly have no idea what the hell is going on there. The 49ers, the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Falcons. So these Falcons, we keep talking about the Falcons, Anita. Every week there's value on the Falcons, and now we know they have one of the easiest schedules going forward. So if they continue to be an underdog, something to look at. We'll transition to Monday Night Football, the Bears at the Patriots. We'll throw up the graphic here so you can take a look at the markets on Sport Trade. On the money line, the Bears just $23.50. The Patriots $77.50. The Bears a 7.5-point dog, trading at $48.5 to cover. Patriots at $52.5. The over, as the primetime games have shown us, Anita, not very high on the totals. Just 39.5. We do have alternate lines up on Sport Trade as well. Both the over and under trading at 50.5. What say you this evening?
So I'm going to play the under here, and I'm going to play the under at 32.5, and I'm going to grab that at $28.50. Ooh. I'm also going to play the Patriots minus 7.5 at $52.50. Follow me here. I don't see a lot of points being put up in this game. And I've got some really interesting stats that I uncovered this morning that I want to share with you. Mm-hmm. The Patriots time of possession, they average 30 minutes per game, and they're ranked 22nd in the league in regard to plays per game. The Bears, also they average 30 seconds between plays. So they're eating up as much time on the clock as possible. Mm-hmm. As I just stated my case. Bears play at a very slow pace as well. They rank 31st in plays per game. Weather conditions are not supposed to be great, supposed to be cold, some rain. Patriots want to get out of this game quickly, safely. They've got the Jets next week. So I think we're going to see another snoozer. I think we're going to see a lot of running the football. I think we're going to see a lot of time taken off the clock. So I'm willing to play the 32.5 and only laying $28.50 because I think this is just going to be a big time under game. And as for the Patriots, I can see they're the better team here. Yeah. I mean, that's obvious. Yeah. So but my favorite play here is under 32.5 tonight, Dan.
We're totally aligned on Pat's minus 7.5. Pine Sports, who joins us every Friday, fantastic modeling analytic company that we've partnered with, actually has New England with a 68% chance of covering 7.5. And our numbers are usually very aligned between what their models say and what our pricing is. huge gap in the pricing tonight. So as you mentioned, Pats minus 7.5 is 52.50. And Pine Sports has a 68% chance of covering an 8-point spread. So not only do you get less points, but they actually have a higher total. And for only 52.50, I love that opportunity against a Bears team that has continuously shown us, Anita, that they suck. Offensively, they just have no bullets. No offense to Justin Fields. This new staff under Matt Eberflus and this new regime and new general manager did nothing to help him in the offseason. The offensive line is a joke. David Montgomery played last week, but still banged up. Khalil Herbert has not looked as good. Other than Darnell Mooney, what do they really have, in my opinion? And they're going up against a defensive genius who week in and week out continues to show that Bill Belichick has not lost his step as a defensive mind. Every time a team comes up against New England, they're shut down. It's amazing to me. I think this, and you're wearing the Bailey Zappi t-shirt. I know we can't see you because of the way it's cropped. You've got the Bailey Zappi t-shirt. I think this is a pretty good New England team. I think they're pretty good.
I'm being told, I was texting with Mike Reese, who's covered the Patriots forever and a day. He's a coworker with mine at ESPN. And I texted him this morning and I said, why is everybody whacking for Zappi? What's going on here? Like, are they? Because the Western Kentucky are they going to trade? Right, everybody loves the backup quarterback. Are they going to trade Mac Jones prior to the trade deadline? And Mike said, no, absolutely not. Mac Jones is their quarterback. I said, okay, so are we not going to see Zappi tonight? And he said he anticipates Mac Jones to start, but we may see Zappi come in at some point.
Interesting.
So we'll see.
Well, that gives me less confidence because you know what they say: if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have one. Does not give me the warm fuzzies that they're going to be able to cover 7.5 then. Yeah, that a really interesting situation. There's been a lot of smoke around that situation, right? Mac Jones being a guy who asks why a lot, and that New England, not exactly a place where why is asked of its coaching staff and brain trust. I'm not plugged into the Patriots, but a lot of the discussion in the last couple of weeks has been, if we can win with Bailey Zappi playing the way we want to win, he's a 4th-round quarterback, why can't Mac Jones just do what we want him to do? I think that's an interesting thing to watch, frankly.
And quick note, this was a reason why I was told the 49ers went with Trey Lance over Mac Jones. Mac Jones rubbed Kyle Shanahan the wrong way. Like it really came down to the 11th hour. And let's be honest, if Mac Jones had been drafted by the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo would have been traded by now, and Mac Jones would be the starting quarterback and probably would be doing just as good as Jimmy Garoppolo is doing. But again, these are what I was told. People close to the organization is that Mac Jones rubbed Kyle Shanahan the wrong way. So these reports out of New England don't surprise me in regard to how Mac Jones is behaving.
What a sliding doors moment that is. Right. I mean, that's unbelievable. I mean, who knows if they trade for Christian McCaffrey in that circumstance? Who knows? Obviously, they don't trade for Trey Lance. They don't waste 5 picks in doing so. That's what a moment that could have been. Okay, it's time, Anita. Everyone's favorite game here on Market Movers. It is, of course, The Price is Tight. And if you've been watching, last week was an absolute landslide. Anita crushed me on The Price is Tight. But as things stand, 2-1-1 so far on the season as we head into week 8. Really difficult games this weekend, Anita. I think there are some dogs that are barking and then some home teams going up against teams that we just can't seem to figure out. We will start with Denver at Jacksonville. Now, this game played in London. So Jacksonville, of course, making their yearly pilgrimage across the pond, as it were. They can't fill their own stadium, so the NFL trying to help them fill a different stadium. We'll start with you, Anita. What say you about the price of the favorite on Sportrade's to win market? So we're guessing basically the money line favorite and what they're priced at. So what says you about Denver and Jacksonville?
Yeah, so even though it's in London, that is a home game for the Jags. If there's one team that feels at home over there, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Denver still don't know what the deal is with Russell Wilson and his hamstring. There was a report yesterday while I was hosting my show on ESPN Radio that his hamstring is partially torn from the bone. That's you're talking about a good few weeks that you're on the shelf. And when you think you're ready, you still need 2 more weeks. So the Jags to me here, I want to imagine that they're the ones that are going to be favored, and so I'm going to price them at $58 straight up, $58 straight up to win.
All he needs, some concussion water and a dangerous rush witch sandwich, and he'll be right back out there. That's all he needs. I have the Jags at 61, and it is Jags at 64. I think people have had enough of this Denver team. I think they've watched this Denver team enough. And it doesn't help that they've been on national television repeatedly. I think they've watched this team. They're like, I think we're good here. We really have nothing we want to do with this squad. The next one I think is a great game. Two teams that have exceeded expectations in a big, big way. The New York Giants and the Seattle Seahawks. This game in Seattle, the Giants continue to be underdogs, and the Seahawks continue to be priced as underdogs as well. 3 upsets as an underdog. And since we began tracking, they've been a favorite only one time, and it was against the Falcons, and they lost. So they have an opening average price of $38 on Sport Trade. But we'll see if they'll be playing the favorite against the 6-1 New York Giants. I'll go first. I said this was Seattle 58, not because I believe it should be, but because of how these games have been priced. So I said Seahawks 58. Go Geno Smith.
Interesting. Maybe I lowballed it here. I still don't feel that the Giants are getting respect. Yeah. If I may steal a line from Ronnie Dangerfield. But so let me preface by saying I love the Giants in this spot. I mean, you're talking about, again, a team that is top 5 in defensive rushing numbers against opponents. And of course, Kenneth Walker has been tremendous since now he's getting the start. Do you know he ran 22 miles an hour yesterday, Dan?
Wow.
Could you imagine?
No.
God, I would. What it must feel like to run 22 miles an hour. But nonetheless, Seattle at home, their offense is rolling. They're coming off of a big win yesterday against the Chargers. I say Seattle 55, but now I'm thinking maybe I lowballed them here.
Seattle 59.5 is the answer there. So I had.
So I did.
Yeah. So I was at 58. So 2 up, 2 down for me. Green Bay travels to Buffalo. Green Bay is a team that has habitually been one of the highest priced teams on Sport Trade week in and week out. I will read for you now, Anita, the last 4 weeks on Sport Trade, their opening number: 82, 76.5, 76, and 68. They now go to Buffalo to take on probably the best team in the National Football League, a team that has been an absolute buzzsaw. And except for that one game in Miami in September where you called it, you said the atmosphere is going to be a problem, the heat's going to be a problem, they have just run through everybody. I said Buffalo at 82 against the Green Bay Packers, and it felt high. What do you think?
So a few things. Number one, Aaron Rodgers has never been a double-digit dog in his life. Okay. So he's going in to this game. The Bills are favored by 10.5. That's first and foremost. It's obvious that this Packers offense is struggling, whether it's he doesn't trust his offensive line, he doesn't trust his wide receivers, he's not scrambling. I could go on and on. But this Packers defense is top 5 against the pass. So I'm gonna go Bills 78. Bills $78.
Now we'll have to get Sport Trade stats and info on this, but the Packers have lost in consecutive weeks in which they were double-digit favorites. I wonder if any team has ever been a double-digit favorite in consecutive weeks and then a double-digit dog the week after. I don't know the answer to that. That just seems like that could have never been done before. So you're on 78. I said Buffalo 82. It is 82 exactly. The Buffalo Bills at 82. Green Bay at 19.
I'm not playing this game with you next week. I'm done playing this game.
This is the best I've ever done by far. I promise I didn't cheat. We pulled up a quick graphic here to just accentuate this point. Trading the Packers. Week 5 against the Giants, they open at 76-5 and lose. Week 6 against the Jets, open at 76 and lose. Week 7, I mean, this is. I am in a full-fledged panic if I live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. You lose to Washington, who is terrible, with Taylor Heineke. Here are the quarterbacks, Nita, the last 4 games. If I would have told you this before the year, I want you to guess what you thought their record would be in this stretch. Bailey Zappi, Danny Dimes, Zach Wilson, Taylor Heineke. If you would have told me that at the beginning of the year,
you'd think 4-0.
4-0.
At least 3-1. At least 3-1.
At least 3-1. 1-3. And now they get Josh Allen next. So as surprising as that number is, maybe we shouldn't be that surprised. And this era of Green Bay Packers football, at least for now, appears to be over. Our next game, Patriots at Jets. This one is dripping with storylines. The Patriots, of course, have not played yet. The Jets just lost not only Breece Hall, but Tucker, their guard as well, is now out with a biceps injury, a first-round pick, I believe, from 2 seasons ago, who's been fantastic. So major losses for the Jets. I think I can speak for Jets fans when I say Zach Wilson maybe hasn't looked all that great. But what say you, Anita, about Patriots at the Jets?
Yeah. So each and every day I get destroyed by Jets fans on social media. It is quite comical because I call them the luckiest team in the NFL based on what has happened with their opponents and how they have come to win this past week going up against Brett Rippon, right? Listen, can't take anything away from this Jets defense. They are fantastic. Sauce Gardner is tremendous. And I'm really sorry to see that Breece Hall got injured because if he would have continued, I mean, he broke off that 72-yard run, touchdown run to start the game against Denver yesterday. This would have been the first time in the history of the NFL, potentially, that a defensive rookie of the year and an offensive rookie of the year are on the same team. And I was really hoping for that to happen for the Jets. But again, reports today is that it looks like it's a potential ACL for Breece Hall, which stinks for them and stinks for my fantasy team as well. But with that being said, listen, Bill Belichick against a quarterback like Zach Wilson, forget about it. He has no chance. He's just been absolutely horrific this season. Below 50% completion percentage. And it's evident in regard to how they're calling the plays. They're limiting him because they don't want to put him in a bad situation where he's going to be turning the ball over, which I believe he does this week against the Patriots. With that being said, I'm going to go Patriots 52. I believe the Patriots are going to be favored here. Bill Belichick against Zach Wilson. I'm going Patriots $52.
I also thought the Patriots are going to be favored, so I'm on the Patriots here as well. I just think the public sentiment against the Jets right now is not great, and those injuries definitely hurt, especially when you're talking about perhaps the offensive rookie of the year. So you're going to accuse me of cheating. I said the Pats 57. It is Pats 57.5. So 3 of these games, I was right on them. So that'll lead us to our final game. It's 4-0 this week. But this is retribution for last week when you embarrassed me on my own program. This is Miami and Detroit, your beloved Dolphins, heading up to the Motor City. I said Miami 56. So we're on some of these road dogs this week, Anita. But I wasn't quite sure about this one. Detroit's looked terrible. They've lost 4 straight. Miami 56 was my guess.
Yeah, the Lions losing Amon-Ra St. Brown, I can never
the
pronounce
sun god,
properly.
Amon-Ra St. Brown
is a huge hit for them on the offensive side of the ball. Also, DeAndre Swift coming off of a bye week. DeAndre Swift still could not be active for the Lions. I mean, those are their 2 huge playmakers on the offensive side of the ball. And so not sure if Amon's going to be able to go this week. Not sure if DeAndre Swift is going to be able to go this week. So I'm looking at Miami here. I'm going Miami 65. I think Miami straight up would be 6. You got to lay 65 against a very disappointing Lions team as of late.
Well, we kind of had this one surrounded. I said Miami 56. It is 61.5. So you get that one at 65. So that is the result from The Price is Tight. Week number 7, heading towards week number 8. So we're now tied.
I got crushed.
2-2-1. That's okay. As quickly as the tide turns, that's how fast it can come back the next week. Anita, any parting thoughts before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I just really quick. Some of the games that I like that I'm going to be eyeing. I know because I'm only on with you once a week.
Yeah.
That I'm definitely going to play this coming Sunday. I love the 49ers straight up against the Rams. Kyle Shanahan just dominates Sean McVay, and now he's going to have a week at practice with Christian McCaffrey. And also that 49ers pressure rate over 40%, they're going to get to Matthew Stafford. So I love the 49ers straight up. Tennessee -3.5 early. Again, best scripted first series first quarter team in the NFL against Houston.
Well,
Houston
and you
is
gave
bottom
that one,
5.
You gave that one to us last week. You said Tennessee -9.5. Get out at the end of the first quarter, and you were right.
There you go. I'm gonna go to that well until it fails me, and then I might even do it again. Saints straight up against Las Vegas. Listen, not straight up against Las Vegas. They lost to Las Vegas this week. They outgained the Raiders by 150 yards. It's just that, they had 2 picks. I'm sorry. Let's rewind. Who did the Saints play on Thursday night?
Arizona.
There you go. So they outgained Arizona by 150 yards. Yeah. It's just, unfortunately, Andy Dalton had the 2 pick sixes. They still only lost by 1 score. So I like the Saints team. I think the Saints could beat the Raiders. So I'm going to play the Saints straight up. Also, Atlanta against Carolina. Atlanta has beaten Carolina 10 out of the last 13 times these two teams have met. Wow. They hate each other. I don't use the word hate that often, but they hate each other. So I like Atlanta. I'll play them straight up as well as -3.5. And last but not least, your Eagles, dude, -10.5, -13.5. I'm going to play them early. Why? Eagles are such a great first half team.
Yes.
Their winning point margin in the first half is 13 points. That's what they average. And now you've got a Steelers team coming off of a hard fought battle last night against Miami. So I think they're going to be spent. So I like the Eagles, and I'm going to lay that early. -10.5, -13.5. I'm going to lay that early and see where I am at the half. So as of right now, these are 5 plays that I'm looking at heading into Sunday.
Awesome. Shorter week for the Steelers, coming off going up against a rested Eagles team that is averaging over 21 points in their first halves. Not just the Eagles, but the Phillies. Heading to the World Series beginning on Friday. We will be talking, of course, next Monday about the first 2 or 3 games of that series, and we'll talk about it shifting to Philadelphia next Monday when Anita joins us on Market Movers yet again. We'll remind you real quick, Market Mover sweepstakes. You can win $100. You can win $100. All you have to do, follow Sports Trade and retweet the Market Movers program with #TradeUpNewJersey. Anita, thank you so much. We'll be right back here tomorrow. Tomorrow, audio only on Twitter Spaces. We're going to have TikTok Investors and his hundreds of thousands of followers. We're talking about the worst NBA investments to make in the futures market on Sports Trade. We'll see you tomorrow.